Blog Talk Radio.
Hey, everybody, it's your girl, Sai Browne, and welcome to the Sai Browne Morning Show. Thank you so much for listening. Today's show is sponsored by and powered by the National Council of Women of America, where we work very closely. The National Council of Women of America supports this show. We have an amazing cross-team. Full disclosure, I am the president of the National Council of Women of America. And, you know, every day we try to bring, when we're producing the show, content and topics and interesting people and authors to really excel, help us excel in all areas of our lives, to provide for you strength for each sunrise, and just to make our days a little bit better, right? That's what we've been doing since June of 2008. I can't believe it. I was just talking to my publisher, and she said, Sai, you know, you have to celebrate, get ready to celebrate 10 years next year. And I just can't believe I've been doing this for 10 years. So that's amazing, and there's a whole lot of really fun stuff coming down the pike for 2018. So, yes, we will be celebrating 10 years. But I just have to get into today's guest. We have a wonderful, wonderful show. We are talking Alzheimer's with author Marsha Cole-Trice. And this is a very, very important show. You know, I have shared about my mom, about my grandmother, and just the story of how, you know, our whole life cycle, just dealing with the life cycle from birth to transitioning into the next dimension. And so this is a very natural part of it. And I do believe we pride ourselves in just bringing you the latest information and developments and really stories that hit home. So, Miss Marsha, are you there? Can you hear me?
I'm here, and yes, I can hear you.
Thank you so much for joining the Sai Browne Morning Show today. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day to join us and talk about this really, really important topic.
And thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I remember we met at your book signing.
Yes.
It's a little bit behind the scenes tea. We met at your book signing. But, you know, first of all, tell the audience a little bit about who you are, what you do, and then I want to get right into why you wrote the book. So you can go first.
Okay, my name is Marsha Trice, as you know. I'm retired. I worked in the school system as an administrative. I worked in actual school here in Jersey City, and I retired after 40 years. So
that's impressive. That's very impressive to work anywhere for 40 years.
I know, because when I started, I thought it was like a job.
No.
Like I'm not going to be here long.
Little did you know.
Yes, 40 years.
Well, we should be so lucky if we can even stay at a job for 4 years now, needless to say 40 years. So what a blessing that is.
It was a blessing.
So, you know, first of all, many of my listeners are authors. So before we get into the book part of the book, I want to get into what made you even decide to write the book, and then we'll get into the details that are in the book. What made you even decide that this topic is so important that you want to write a book?
Well, actually, I was really writing in my journal. So I was having problems with dealing with the Alzheimer's with my mom. So I was documenting what was going on with us. So, and for the family to understand what was going on. So then I decided, I said, well, let me just write a book. And actually the book was supposed to be basically for family and close friends.
Mm-hmm.
But then as I got more into writing about it, then I thought, no, I need to have this published and put it out there, see where it goes.
Did you feel that the topic was important enough that other people outside of your family would even want to discuss it or get information about it?
Yes, I definitely thought it was important enough because there was a lot of things that, you know, you hear about other people having it, but you don't realize it can touch you. So
what do you mean by it can touch you? You personally?
Yeah, touch you. You, anyone. Like this disease is so rampant. When I was coming up, it was, I don't know if it was Alzheimer's, but when people forgot, and they always called it old-timers.
Mm-hmm.
Old-timers.
I'm so glad that you clarified that because it is not old-timers disease. I hate that.
Right.
So it drives me crazy.
So this is, you know, but for it to touch, if it touches my family and then it touches somebody else's family and somebody else's family, then maybe we can all realize that we're not in it alone, that the struggles that I've gone through are struggles that other people have gone through. And unless you hear about it or read about it or know someone, you don't really know the struggles that you're going through. And it doesn't have to even be Alzheimer's. It could be something else. It could be another disease or something else that you have to struggle with, that you have to take care of, a parent. So, yeah, I think it's really important for people to read things. I mean, I don't want to. Your book you wrote, Happiness
and Heals. Happiness and Heals.
Okay, so when you had a part in there that I had to think about, I really had to think about when you asked the question, who are you?
Right.
Not who, or what. The main question was my family. I think it was like, why did my family need me?
Mhm.
And I had to really think about that.
Wow.
Because what is the purpose for you, for your family? And you're just thinking, you know, you're just going about your business. You're doing what you have to do, and I never really knowing other than, you know, paying bills and doing stuff. So doing things that you normally do for your family, and I don't know. And I still haven't answered that question.
Well, let me ask you this. How exactly did Alzheimer's touch your family? I think, you know, we're a few minutes into the interview, and I don't want to miss an important piece. How did it touch you and your family?
Through my mom.
Can you talk about it? Talk about that.
Okay, so my mother would be the last person that we would thought that would have this disease. But when she would, and little things, when you think back, little things that happened, little things that she did, when you think about it, then you say, oh, wow, you know, that's when it started. Because she would call sometimes and ask, what's today? Or what time is it? And I was like, Mama, you have a clock right there. Or give me so-and-so's telephone number, or my sister's phone number. So just little things that would crop up that we just took it as, oh, she's just being forgetful today. Or, you know, so those are the things that we really have to pay attention to. Even though when we ourselves, like when we go into the room and to get something and we walk in there and we're like, oh, boy, what did I come in here for? Those things we all laugh about because we just think that it's just, you know, you got a lot of stuff on your mind or you're getting older or whatever, but we don't really think about that. So now I think about that.
Right.
So when it touched my mom, it was like, oh, no. You know, even when we took her to the doctor and she was diagnosed, even she said, I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this disease. But what can you do?
You know what that resonates with me and my family because when my grandmother's hearing started going, she would constantly repeat what or later on we would say something like I told you, say we come back from the grocery store and we would have asked her earlier, and she'd just say, never mind. And so when we would come in the house from the grocery store, she'd say, oh, if I had known you were going to the grocery store, I would have had you pick me up something. And we would tell her, well, we told you we were going. Or there would be instances where we would walk into the kitchen, because, you know, every grandmama has that TV in the kitchen, in the corner, and the TV would be so loud. As soon as we walked into the kitchen, like, Grandma, the TV is so loud. But there were these incremental changes that were so subtle that now, once we realized her hearing was failing, it all made sense. Is that how you felt?
Yes, yeah. We found out, because actually her girlfriend is the one who really told me to take her to the doctor, because they had gone to the mall and Mommy got lost from her.
Oh, wow.
And when she called me to let me know what had happened, she said, because her sister had Alzheimer's and she had taken care of her sister. So she knew the signs. And
wow.
she told me, she said, you know, I need you to take your mom to the doctor. I really believe your mom has Alzheimer's. But when when they got together, Mommy told her she was looking for her.
Oh, okay.
She got lost.
right.
Friend got lost. That she was, you know, walking around looking for her. But so that was, you know, when that was one of the things that. Just little things, and it's scary. It was so scary. Is because now what? You know, now what are we going to do? What's going to happen now?
So once she was diagnosed, what did you do?
Well, they put her on medicine. And for a while, she was pretty much okay. She was forgetful, but she could still do for herself. You know, she could do things for herself. It was mostly the forgetful stages, and then then she kind of deteriorated, and then when she stayed with me. For a while, she was able to stay in her own home. But then she couldn't, so I brought her home with me, and she stayed with me. And then she had a stroke on top of that.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So once she had a stroke, then I couldn't handle her. So then I had to put her in a nursing home.
How did you come to that decision that we have to put her in a nursing home? Because that's a very, very, very difficult decision for a family to make. Did you make it by yourself? Did you talk to me about that process?
That process was so horrible. That was such a horrible time, because when she was first diagnosed, my family said put her in the home right away. And I said no, because she's not there where she needs to go in home. Well, I can't take care of her. I can't do it, so nobody could do it. So then I had to do it.
Right.
So, and the put her in the home, I didn't, at first we all went looking together, but then they kind of went on the wayside. So then after she had the stroke, I made up in my mind that I couldn't do it. So I didn't ask anybody. I didn't go to the family after that. I just, me and my niece, actually, she took me around, and we went to different places. And there was this place that's a place called Mom. They advertise it on TV.
Yes, I've seen that. I have seen that, yes.
And I called them, and I worked with them, and they sent me to different places to look at. But it's a very, very, it's horrible in a way, because you feel like your mom took care of you all this time, and now I can't take care of her.
Well, if I can say this, I went through that issue on two sides, with my grandmother and then with my husband's mother. And I remember with my husband, now it got really dicey with us, because that's not even my mom. I'm the in-law.
Right.
But I remember when she first fell ill, the first thing out of my mouth was put her in a nursing home. And his siblings had a fit. And I looked at all of them and said, who here is a registered nurse? And they looked at me like I had three heads. And I said, that is outside of the capacity that I'm able to serve.
Right.
And it sounded so harsh and so brutal. And I was able to say it freely because it was not my mom. And, you know, everybody who listens to the show knows I've been with my husband almost 30 years. So I felt I could say this. But the reality was none of us had the capacity to properly care for her because there is more than just administering meds and things like that.
Right.
And I agree with you. There was some guilt, particularly with my grandmother. You know, she fell, and I said the same thing to our family at that time. I'm not a registered nurse. And the best I can do is love on her and give her medicines and sit with her and have lunch. But she needs more than that.
Right.
And so I've had to have those two separate conversations under two different dynamics, and everybody had that same initial, particularly if you're black. Black people don't do that. White people do that. Like,
right.
Black people don't. You walk in a black people's house, they got a hospital bed in the middle of the living room.
Yeah.
But I also said, to your point, and this is what prompted that, yes, our parents raised us, but we are in such a different time. I remember growing up, there was always somebody home in the neighborhood, somebody's grandmother, somebody's mother, somebody's auntie. The average home now, everybody leaves at 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and the house is empty, and then everybody comes, you know, and of course I'm generalizing here.
No, but that's true. That's true.
I remember, and I'm not even that old, I used to come home from school for lunch.
I remember coming home from school for lunch.
So
when I started with school, the kids came home for lunch.
This is my point exactly. So when you put things into a communal perspective, a societal perspective, 20, 30 years ago, it would be unheard of. But
Right.
the way we are right now, what really other options do we have?
Because we don't. You're right. Because all we can do is minister medicine. We can't. Like when she had the stroke, like moving her and trying to, you know, and then trying to get her to be still when she thinks she can move and she can't move and stuff. So then, yes, it was hard, and then I had stairs. So now getting back and forth up and down stairs, and it was too much, and not enough help.
And that's the thing, too. And this is what I said to my husband. I said, you know, everybody's saying that now. But we don't know how long this situation is going to last. Because in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, everything is going to be still good. But if you're talking 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, is that zeal still going to be there? It takes a toll caring for an ailing parent or family member. And, you know, just as a sidebar, I was interviewed for, I think it was Essence Magazine some years ago, on this very subject. Like, what do we do, particularly now as there's this Generation X that I'm in, that a lot of people are in, that we're still dealing possibly with children at home and caring for aging and ailing family members, and the guilt and the pressure that we place on ourselves because of our cultural, because of that social pressure, that cultural pressure, that we just don't do that. How are you able to overcome those feelings?
Because I had no choice.
That's trial by fire.
At that point, I had no choice. I couldn't do it by myself, and so I really had no choice, and I had to put her at home. But the other part, then after she was in the home, then everybody kind of stepped up to go visit and see her and make sure, you know, she was okay. And so we had we'd all go and visit her and be with her, and up until she passed. So she had her good days and bad days.
Amen.
And she knew that we loved her, you know. So we knew she loved us. So when you pour, like you said, you love on them, and you pour out as much love, and you make sure that they're all right and they're okay. and had no complaints with the home that she was in. I had no complaints with them.
So now that she's in the home, what did you when it came to writing the book, what was your experience? Did it pull out these deep emotions? Did it make you feel? Did it pull, how did it make you feel as you were writing, and then when the book was actually finished?
Okay, so when I started, she was home, so it was okay. It was due out every day. I took a lot of pictures of her and stuff, and she loved to dance. So, but I still always felt like I wasn't doing enough. So it's like no matter what I did, it just felt like I should be doing more, but I didn't know what the more was. She just always looked so lonely and sad most of the time. And so with her being lonely and sad, I was lonely and sad. And writing, the writing of it came, sometimes it was real hard to write because now it's real, it's sad things that's going in it. I'm telling about her life as I saw it. And so that was hard. And that was hard, too, because now I'm revealing things about her that people don't know. Because at once she was one person at a younger time in her life, and then she was a changed person in the older part of her life. So now people who didn't know her back when are now getting a glimpse into the person that she was and really seeing what an extraordinary person that she was. So now that the book is out, what do you want people to take away? I want people to just kind of understand that whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is that, because I had to put on my faith a lot. So, and whomever you serve, whatever higher power, because there's a higher power. So, and I believed in a higher power. I believe there's a God. I don't know what somebody else might believe. But whatever your belief system is, whatever it is that gets you through, to call on that, to call on those systems, those things that help you through each day. Prayer was good for me. Like, I'm a prayer, so I'll pray. Sometimes I just help me, like, stop, help. I need help, and don't be afraid to ask for help. And that's another thing. Sometimes, I would take things on myself, and still now I do things like that. I'll take things on myself, and I won't ask for help. And when you know that you need the help, but sometimes you're afraid to ask for the help because you don't want to hear no. Well, plus people, I was a young mom, and I never asked for help because I said, I don't want anybody saying that, oh, Saideh with these kids, and she ain't had no business having these kids. And so how foolish and crazy is that? Yes. It's nuts. It's nuts. But you know what? But that's what I did because I said, ain't nobody going to be able to tell me that I didn't do this for my kids. That's crazy. I know. Girl, I was a young mother in college with 2 little babies trying to graduate and get my degree. Of course I needed help. Yes. But you don't want to ask. Well, my reason for asking, too, is because I didn't want no. If I asked you, first place, I don't ask. So if I ask, I need it. Right. But then I'm scared to ask because you may say no. Wow. If you say no, then you're going to hurt my feelings. Wow. And I don't want my feelings to be hurt. So I just do. I just do what I do. Well, I hope people who are listening ask for help. Don't listen to our crazy selves. Make sure you ask for help.
What's the final thought that you would like to leave with our guests while they, as they listen to your story and listen about your book and things?
I guess we've just been saying about the help, because we all have our good days and bad days, and we get scared, and everybody gets scared. But I just, like I said, I just believe in God, and just know that, we're all a part of each other in some way, so we're all connected in some kind of way. So, and yes, please ask for help if you need help. Know that you're not alone in anything that we do. We're really not alone. We feel alone, but we're really not alone.
Amen. Well, I will definitely, I definitely receive that, and I'm sure my listeners will too. Thank you so much for joining us today. The book, ladies and gentlemen, is Give Me My Flowers Now, right?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. And the author is Marsha Cole-Trice, and you can find more information on SaiBrowneMorningShow.com. And you can also go to the publisher, Samaj Publishing, Inc. A big special thank you to Ms. LaVon Featherstone, who coordinated and helped us get you on the show. So thank you very much. And to all my listeners, thank you for listening. We will have more. You can find more details, Alzheimer's support groups, as well as other issues and other information about this disease on SaiBrowneMorningShow.com. And always remember, we shall pass through this world but once. Any good, therefore, that we can do, or any kindness that we can show to any human being, let us do it now. Let us not defer or neglect it, for we shall not pass this way again. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.